Jason Heffernan, welcome to 7:30.
Good evening, Sarah.
What's the past 24 hours been like for your teams?
The past 24 hours for firefighters here in Victoria has been very challenging. Some 220 fires, grass and scrub fires, since Saturday. Yesterday, as many people will know, we saw very strong winds coupled by hot temperatures, and then that frontal system came through, which saw 93 kilometre-an-hour winds affecting most of the fire grounds across East Gippsland there. The fire of main concern this evening as we go to air is that Briagolong fire. It's some 5,600 hectares. Fire crews, assisted by water bombing aircraft and heavy plant this evening, have been working on the southern containment of that. The next 24 hours will be key for fire authorities here in Victoria. We are going to see a return of those winds. Already the winds are starting to pick up across East Gippsland, and over the night tonight and into very early in the morning, we'll see a return potentially of some of those 80-kilometre winds, northerlies all across that fire ground. It is active, it's 42 kilometres in perimeter, and we do expect that fire will move tonight. So a long way from being out of the woods. The communities south of the Briagolong fire need to be alert to what's going on, stay up to date, have that Vic Emergency app and be prepared to get into action tonight. Now
tell me, were people prepared for fires so early in the season?
We've had 3 years of really unseasonably wet weather here in Victoria, and in the lead up to your intro there, certainly the East Gippsland region where we see these fires has been the driest on record over winter, which has led the bushland to be primed for what we have here now. The fire danger period for East Gippsland comes into effect this week. That's some 6 weeks earlier than what we would traditionally see here in this part of Victoria. Today we had a total fire ban in the northwest of the state in the Mallee Weather District, some 35 degrees, hot northerly winds. That declaration of an El Nino by the Bureau, coupled with that positive Indian Ocean dipole, has created a recipe for really dry conditions here in Victoria, which has led to these fires across the Gippsland.
So tell me this, I mean, is the CFA, do you have all of the assets that you need to fight fires this summer?
We work as one here in Victoria. It's not just the CFA volunteers. We're joined by our career counterparts in Forest Fire Management Victoria and, of course, Fire Rescue Victoria. CFA is 52,000 strong volunteer workforce, 30,000 operational members. They're out there doing what they do best in protection of their Victorian communities. And we saw a large deployment yesterday of volunteer firefighters, some up to 600 deployed into the Gippsland across these fires. And as we speak, there are strike teams coming out of the Melbourne area into the Gippsland region in anticipation for the weather this evening. The Victorian communities can rest assured that they are well looked after this summer.
And does that mean that you do have enough fire-bombing aircraft available to you should you need them?
Firebombing aircraft this year, we have more capacity this year than what we did last year with available aircraft, which is fantastic. Aircraft are just one tool in the toolkit when it comes to dealing with bushfire suppression. We've got heavy plant, and of course aircraft alone can't put fires out. You need firefighters on the ground. So as we lead into tonight, those concerning weather conditions across East Gippsland, obviously the aircraft will not necessarily be available to us. So it will be a ground firefight this evening, but more importantly it will be about making sure the communities are aware that tonight, particularly those to the south of the Briagolong fire, you could be in danger as these winds continue to increase. Have that Vic Emergency app with you this evening and take the action as required.
Now, just a question about you. You've been a volunteer, I think you became a volunteer firefighter in the late 1980s. What have you seen across those decades in terms of the change in the nature of fires, the duration, what it's like to be a firefighter compared to then?
For myself, being a volunteer firefighter was probably the best thing I've ever done for myself. I felt a need to give back to my local community, and watching the RFS volunteers, I'm from regional New South Wales, watching them go out and protect their local communities, and I thought to myself, you know what, if they can do it, why can't I? Fantastic training, leadership, some skills that I use to this very day. So I encourage anyone to think about joining their local CFA here in Victoria and giving back to their community. It is about being part of the community and that social network, and giving back to them in people's times of need is an added benefit. There's no doubt that we are seeing a change in our climate. I have seen fire seasons in my later part of the career now starting earlier, finishing later, which will be a challenge for fire authorities, not only in the coming years, but for the decades to come.
And just briefly, I think your organisation launched a recruitment drive for volunteers recently. Is there still time for people to make a meaningful difference as volunteers?
Absolutely. Look, there's always time. In CFA, we've launched the Give Us a Hand campaign, asking exactly that. People in the community to come along, give their local CFA a hand, join up. It doesn't matter if you think you can't be a firefighter. We have many roles, not just those that hold the hose. We've got radio operators, we've got catering officers, logistics operators. We've got people that use their administrative skills in their own professional careers to assist brigades in managing in their day-to-day functions. We've got people that load aircraft, use their mapping skills, or work in incident management teams. There's a role for everyone in the CFA, and we encourage people just to reach out, have a chat with us, or go to our CFA website and have a read and think about giving us a hand.
Jason Heffernan, thank you for joining us, and we wish you the very best over the coming days. Thank you.
Thank you.